Well, hello, good afternoon. It is an absolute pleasure to be here, especially on a very beautiful day. And I appreciate you being here joining us today. Bridging continents. I've had the opportunity to empower youth and also reawaken heritage. I have crossed over to reading glasses, so I'm going to add those to my presentation. So before I start, I just want to bring two really important people into the room. These are my direct ancestors. My dad, Alan Hentz. He was born in 1920 in Mississippi, a man of few words, but a huge heart. He taught me love unconditionally. He had an 8th grade education, but one of the smartest people I've ever known. I also would like to bring my mom in the room, Daisy Hentz, born in 1928 in Mississippi. She was an entrepreneur. And both of them are grandchildren of slaves. They both migrated to Wisconsin for a better life for themselves and their children. Eventually, there came me. Oh, how adorable. It took me forever, by the way, to get this picture, years. But they actually planted the seeds. My dad, who really gave me this desire to reach out and help folks, and my mother, that entrepreneurial vibe. And together, they created me. Through their unwavering love and pride in our culture and heritage, they've instilled in me the essence of hard work and the importance of leveraging my God-given gifts. They planted a seed in me, nurturing not just a sense of identity, but also a deep-rooted commitment to make a meaningful impact in my community. I really feel like I am the prayers of my ancestors. So, dear parents, I understood the assignment, your daughter. So I just want to take you through a story of my life as I entered into the world of Africa and how it actually changed my life. I'll start with that first seed. In 2011, I had the opportunity to nurture this global partnership that I began at that time. I have been an educator for 19 years and I loved it. If you want to see my eyes dance, put me in front of a group of children. I'd been a teacher by then, a teacher trainer, a pre-service teacher specialist. I worked at the University of Milwaukee working with pre-service teachers. And in that same year, I received the Fulbright U.S. State Department award for being a distinguished educator. And that took me to Durban, South Africa. And my world changed that year. I had the opportunity to work in Durban for 6 months and also live there. And my whole focus was integrating social entrepreneurship education into K-12 education. And I had the opportunity to start doing that work here in the United States in the classrooms throughout Wisconsin, and then was able to leverage that even further. So let me tell you about this absolutely amazing transformational experience. I partnered with the University of KwaZulu-Natal. My focus was on strengthening and enhancing, as I said before, entrepreneurship education curriculum. But what was special about South Africa is beginning at 4th grade, students started learning how to be entrepreneurs. Any entrepreneurs in the room or hopeful entrepreneurs? All right, I see some and some. I had an opportunity to work with graduate students who taught from 4th grade through what we would consider 12th grade. And it was wonderful to witness them teaching the newly developed curriculum that I was bringing to the university and also supporting them along the way. So modeling curriculum and sharing the curriculum was a great experience. While there, I began working on what's now my book called It's My Business, Inspiring Students' Ideas for a Better Community. I presented my work to university leaders and professors in the social science department. But what I didn't realize was the intense impact this trip would make on my daughter. You see, at the time, she was 15 years old. We both stepped on the continent together. She was the first American in her school, and it was transformational for her. She was a 10th grader, and she went to St. Benedict School, a private school there in Durban, and she fully immersed herself in the experience. She joined the soccer team. Now, this kid can't catch a ball, but she joined the soccer team, which was really cool. She also started, she plays the violin, and she would play at different churches or events that we were at. And she was even asked to play at a Zulu wedding. It was absolutely incredible. And part of her education experience, she was also supposed to do a big report. So she did a lot of work on understanding for the first time apartheid and how she was able to see how it still showed up in her school, even when we were there in 2011. She gained a deep love for her peers, for the culture and the people. This strong sense of belonging, the teachers, her peers, and the community truly embraced her. And she longed to stay. She kept saying, "Can I stay?" And I kept going, "You're coming home." "No, they said you could come and I can live with them." "No, you're coming home." It was transformational, but not just for her, but for me too. At that time, I knew that I understood my next assignment. You see, when we're changed, when our lives are changed, it's important, in my opinion, that we're able to give that back to others. So I did a couple things. I founded CEOs of Tomorrow in 2016. At that time, I had been working 5 years now since I returned back from South Africa in education. I have served as the culturally responsive teacher leader in one of the largest school districts in Wisconsin. I worked for the Department of Public Instruction here in Madison as a state education consultant. And in 2016, I launched CEOs of Tomorrow, as was shared earlier, a nonprofit organization focused on teaching social entrepreneurship. In other words, teaching children not just how to make money, but also how to change the world. I opened CEOs of Tomorrow because at the time I was charged by our state to help close the racial achievement gap in Wisconsin. And I wanted to do something at the grassroots level. So CEOs of Tomorrow was founded. I got to do two things. One of my loves is education and one is entrepreneurship. And I was able to marry the two of them through CEOs of Tomorrow. And I immediately began thinking about how can I provide a global experience through CEOs of Tomorrow to other youth in our Madison and surrounding area communities. So one of our programs, Global Excursions, was born. And I want to tell you that it really was highly influenced by my experience and my daughter's experience in South Africa. From the onset, it was clear that integrating global social entrepreneurship education and fostering these really strong international partnerships with our programs would result in a strong impact on youth. How many of you like traveling? Oh yeah, now I see the hands. So you know what traveling does. It opens your mind. You see things differently. You have these amazing experiences. And there's so many people in our community that don't have the opportunity to travel, particularly using their gifts to change the world. So I thought it would be really beneficial to partner with programs and organizations that are outside of our country, particularly in Africa, to make a huge and profound impact on youth here and across the borders, bridging continents and cultures, nurturing a generation of empowered, global-minded young leaders. So in 2019, together with my team, we launched Global Excursions. And it has three main focuses. One, all of these young people here who learn entrepreneurship, they take that knowledge to areas in Africa to other youth and actually train them and teach them in partnership with entrepreneurship. And while there, they launch a business with them. It's absolutely incredible to see the power of these young people working together. In addition, I think it's important, and as you who've traveled often, to be able to have a global view. So they also benefited by building authentic relationships with peers in different countries. And then finally, we wanted to make sure that they were able to leverage earned credentials. So after completing the program, which would be coursework as well as travel, they would earn a digital learning badge and it's certified, and then also 3 Madison College credits. So the high school students would be able to really leverage those credentials. So where did we go? Our first trip was in 2019, and we went to Gaborone, Botswana. And our first group of teens had an opportunity, here's a picture of them, for some of them, it was their very first time on an airplane, not to mention traveling to another country. Absolutely transformational. We partnered with a NGO called Stepping Stone International. They work with vulnerable and orphan youth. Our youth taught social entrepreneurship education to the youth there, and together launched a t-shirt business that promoted quality education. You see, at that time, we learned that high school students in 10th grade, they're given a test. If they don't pass that test, their education is over. Well, these smart young people were like, before we get to that test, we need to make sure that we have a quality education. And it's up to us to make sure that we beat that hammer, so to speak, so that folks know that a quality education for us is important. So they designed these t-shirts. I am quality was one of the things that was on one of the t-shirts, or education is both a light and, looking at my reading glasses, a way to succeed. All of this was done during the 3 weeks that we were at in the country. They then went in the market and promoted their social cause and also sold their t-shirts. In fact, they sold out while we were there. This t-shirt business continues to exist today. So I was so excited. This was just a great opportunity to take youth. I couldn't wait to go again in 2020. And then COVID hit and put a slam on all of that travel for us. COVID changed everything, particularly our ability to travel. So our next trip for 2020 was canceled. We wanted to go in 2021 to Botswana and had to cancel it again. And then in 2022, travel still wasn't quite as safe. So we had to cancel it for the third time. But something really special happened in 2022 that changed the trajectory of our global program. First, this lovely couple here. The lady in the picture, she helped found CEOs of Tomorrow. She was my first employee and was very much a part of the organization. Her name is Haywan. She married the love of her life, Mamadou. And she happened to have married a gentleman from the Gambia. She went to visit his country. She comes running back. I'm picturing her running, but she comes back from that trip. And she immediately says, stop going to Botswana. The Gambia aligns very well with CEOs of Tomorrow's mission. And I'm like, the Gambia, where's that? I had never heard of it. But she felt, and I trusted her, that that should be the country, once we can travel again, that we take the students to. But I still wasn't quite sure. In that same year, 2022, another strange thing happened. We're at Thanksgiving at my house. My niece, Taylor, comes over with her boyfriend, Farmaine, to meet the family. Farmaine has an accent, and I'm always loving travel. So whenever I hear, I'm like, where are you from? And then, oh, I've been there, if I've been there or want to learn about other countries. Guess where he said he was from? The Gambia. I'm like, what? So I started asking him about his country. 2 people in 2023, or 2022, I'm sorry. But it didn't stop there. You're not going to believe this. My grandson was in a flight school program in 2022 at the airport here. They had a graduation. I go to the graduation to support him. There's a professor from Madison College who's familiar with me and that we have this global program. He comes up to me and he goes, "Are you still going to Botswana?" And I go, "Yeah, once we can travel again." And he goes, "Have you ever thought about going to Gambia?" I'm like, no way. In addition to that, he shares with me that Madison has a sister city in the Gambia called Canifing. And they were going in November of that same year to visit the country. And he invited me to join the delegation. So our mayor here, our deputy mayor, and a bunch of other leaders went on that trip. So 3 times in 1 year, it wasn't even the entire year, people had mentioned the Gambia. For me, that was a sign. And I shifted gears from Botswana and started focusing on the Gambia. So, yep, we're headed to the Gambia, and it's time to build now new partners, seeing that I had never been to the Gambia before. So, ancestors, I hear you. So moving along to 2022. In the spring, right away, myself and my team started building 2 international programs focused on the Gambia. One is our International Academy, which I'll share in a minute. That's a virtual course program, we call it, but it's a course. And then global excursions that we had done before, but now we're tweaking it so that it really fits with the Gambia. Our International Academy. It was still during a time when we couldn't travel. So we were trying to figure out, how do we bring global learning to students without having to physically travel? So we started an international global course called International Academy that focused on global entrepreneurship education for youth. And we invited youth from the United States and youth from the Gambia to actually start and kick off this pilot. All the students earned credentials, including a digital badge and 2 Madison College credits. We're able to do the Madison College credits because I aligned our academic standards to a college level course that aligned to one of their courses, which was hugely beneficial and continues to be for students because they earn these credits without cost to them or their families. So in 2022, we partnered with a school called Kotu Senior Secondary School. It's a public school in Canifing in the Gambia, and just an amazing partner. The way I describe them is a school that is thirsty to continue to learn and grow. And once they get information, they utilize the strong talents of their team and the desire and skills of their students to continue to propel. So we started our first year in 2022 with the Academy, with US students and students from Kotu Senior Secondary School. These are high school students. And offered this course globally To date, the team of students from Kotu Senior Secondary School who've participated every year have successfully done so with every cohort that they've enrolled into our global program. They're one of the top students, they're amongst the top students completing our global program. So the Academy, as I was sharing before, is an opportunity for them to learn with other cultures. And we realized that our first group who finished in the summer of 2022 did a great job. And I later went in 2022 in November. So I had a chance for the first time to meet students who we had taught online that summer. That was amazing. And again, the global excursion program, as I shared before, we're now transitioning to the Gambia, same benefits. So to share again, 2019, we went to Botswana. In 2023, this is the group of students that we took to Banjul in the Gambia. Again, this time we took students who had never been out of the country before. And I just want to tell a story about one of these students, a 14-year-old, never been on an airplane, ever. We had him like guide us through the airport once he knew the gate we were going to. But I want to just tell you this story because it was transformational for him. And this is similar to many of the folks that we take out of the country and visit different countries in Africa. So it's nighttime where they wanted to get their hair done. It's like 10 o'clock at night. And the boys there paint their fingers. And so my boys painted theirs as well because they became very close to the students they worked with. It's nighttime. The student's name is Michael. He asked, Dr. Hentz, can I go out and stand outside? And I was like, sure. So it's like 10 minutes. I could see him from where I was sitting. And I go out and stand next to Michael. It's 10 minutes. He's just transfixed. And I put my hand on his shoulder and I go, Michael, are you okay? Because he literally, it's almost like he's in an out-of-body experience. Michael, are you okay? He doesn't look at me at all. He's still like facing forward and he goes, everything I've been taught is a lie. No one, so let me just paint a scene. There are no street lights. So people are just like driving in different directions. No one's blowing horns. No one's yelling out of their windows. Old women are walking down the street. I mean, elders are walking down the street, calm, everything that he felt he had been taught, these images that we rarely see, everything contradicted it. And he felt so surprised and also uplifted from being there. And it's just transformational for many, but not just our students. This is our students and the Kotu students. So we took 10 students with us and we matched them with 10, we call them cultural business partners that they became very close to. They met them beforehand and then also had an opportunity to spend time with them. They pitched their businesses, they met local entrepreneurs, and they also did excursions together. Absolutely transformational. This is the Lord Mayor, who's our partner here in Madison, and was very supportive. His unwavering support was a true beacon to our success in the Gambia. We continue to work with Kotu Senior Secondary School. In the first and second cohort, they all finished the academy well. The first cohort of the global excursions, that went extremely well, but it didn't stop there. Kotu has integrated social entrepreneurship education into all departments in their school: business, national, science, agriculture, home economics. The students have launched businesses independently now, and they also have a school business that they run as well. They also have had several pitch competitions. I've gone on to spend time training their staff. I went back in 2024 with a grant from the U.S. Department of State to continue to develop the curriculum prowess of their educators so that they then can teach entrepreneurship education throughout the country. And then, if that wasn't enough work for me, I launched with my adult children Afro Discoveries to continue this partnership of bringing folks to Africa, this time bringing adults. Our aim is to provide a pathway for African American adults to travel to Africa, to reconnect with their heritage, rediscover their roots, and celebrate culture, reuniting with the land, its people, and shared history. We started last year in 2024. We opened in April. We took our first group in November of last year, and I'll show a short video of our experience.
We started Afro Discoveries because we know the power of returning to your roots.
Afro Discovery is an opportunity to be able to go back to the motherland and really see the authenticity of what it is. We so many times have been told the wrong story.
I didn't know exactly what Africa was going to be.
They're opening you up to the culture of the people and the history.
So glad that I did it. I feel more culturally enriched. I feel better as a person to have taken this trip.
I feel walking out a sense of pride. And the reason I felt pride is because of the resilience that the African culture has, and we're able to come back and tell others about it.
Afro Discoveries is enlightening.
To me, is a cultural movement.
Do it when you can, as soon as you can, because tomorrow's not promised.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime adventure. You will never, ever forget it. Join us on our next Afro Discovery adventure. You won't want to miss it.
It is an absolute pleasure to be able to run this business with my daughter and my nephew who I raised. He's like my son. He's an engineer and she's an educator. And they've brought their skills and talents together to be able to give back to those who really want to explore their history and their roots. We do excursions that are fun and engaging. We also spend time with the locals because that's really important to build those relationships. And then finally, we unpack our history where each of them can write their own story. It's absolutely powerful. We're leaving with our second group in 2 weeks, actually 1 day less than 2 weeks. And we're excited about this group too. Very similar to 2024 last year, we will also be going to the Gambia and Senegal. As you can see, from way back when folks said go to the Gambia, that relationship has continued to grow and evolve. I almost feel like I'm family there now once I travel there. But there's a few things we're doing differently. While we were there, we were enlightened by the owner of Mama Africa. She was recommended by the US ambassador in the Gambia. It is a beautiful resort. She built it herself with her family. She's an internationally renowned artist. And if you ever go to the Gambia, I'd highly recommend staying at Mama Africa. But one of the things she said to us when we were there, we did like school supplies drives to give back. And she really encouraged us to think more deeply. How can we use our talents and skills, us, the people we're bringing, to not just donate, but share our knowledge? And so what we decided this year is to contact the schools that we worked with last year and ask them what is their need. because it's important. A lot of times and this happens here, I'm sure in the United States, without knowing the people we're serving or helping, we assume what that help should look like. But the people who you're helping, they have the story behind their need. And we wanted to make sure that anything that we're giving or doing, it's what we're asked to do, rather than what we think people need. So that brings me back to Co2 Senior Secondary. I am so impressed with this school. I continue to partner with them. We are Afro Discoveries partnering with them too. They're led largely they have a male principal and a lot of male teachers. I called the director of education and I asked, what topic would be valuable for us to teach? And he said, menstruation health. And I go, oh, great. Is this just for girls? He goes, and I'm applauding inside, well, jumping up and down, and just impressed. He goes, no, we want our boys there too. It is important that one day there'll be husbands, their brothers, their uncles, their fathers. We want to make sure they know how to support and stand by women. I was floored, particularly because that stigma is not just there. We have a lot of growth to do as a world when it comes to menstruation health, removing stigma from women, and building this sense of support. So I was thrilled. This is what he asked us to do. He wanted us to bring and teach the students how to make reusable pads. They wanted a sewing machine so that they can continue to sustain that process and to provide menstruation health education. Well, in our group, it just so happened, and I believe things happen how they're supposed to. In our group, it just so happened that we have a medical doctor traveling with us. We have someone who makes quilts, and she's done a lot. That's the medical doctor as well. So she's done a lot of work and research on making reusable pads. We have another professional coming with us who has written books and done training on confidence building. And she's going to do a workshop on gender, menstruation, and confidence. We have another person going with us who's a physical trainer. She's going to be teaching them how to physically, during the 4 stages of the menstrual cycle, what kinds of exercises to do. It's just amazing. Let me tell you why this is important. Many school-age girls miss class, and some even drop out altogether because they don't have access to pads or clean facilities. For the boys, many, not all, but many grow up without understanding menstruation, which can lead to stigma and teasing. And then for women and girls, it affects health, education, equality, which we all know limits not only girls, but women when it comes to education and work. So we're excited to be able to make an impact. With that said, one of our travelers reached out to Party in My Pants. Anybody heard of Party in My Pants? Right? Me either. I was like, Party in My Pants. They are a business that actually makes reusable pads and sells them. And those reusable pads are now serving girls and women all around the world. So we thought one of our travelers did some research, contacted Party in My Pants, and together we've begun raising money to bring pads to the Gambia. So far, this fundraiser has raised $1,300 and just started about a week ago. There's lots of work for us to do there. We're also working to give them emergency period kits that include lots of things that they need in case of an emergency. For the boys who are learning and participating in the workshop, they'll be able to gift their emergency kit to a girl or woman who they care about. We are shy of our goal And so I'm sharing with this group as well as those online. If you'd like to join us in ending period poverty, if you'd like to join us in making a difference at Kotu Senior Secondary School, they have over 2,000 students there, half of which are girls. We'd love for you to join us. Even a small donation would be of benefit. I have here the QR code and also the Venmo account if you would be interested. So wanted to share that piece with you also. We're excited to partner in this work, and we can't wait to go over and really make a bigger impact than we have in the past. We are also helping two schools in Senegal. Both of them have asked for school supplies, and they're in urgent need of school supplies and books. So some of us will be bringing school supplies, and we're also giving a cash donation. So any support that you all may be interested in will go directly to the youth that we'll be seeing in Senegal and the Gambia. With that said, I'm gonna wrap up by saying to my ancestors, I've really tried to embrace the call, encouraged by our shared roots and guided by their wisdom and their strength. And I say to them with unwavering determination and gratitude, from Roxie, your descendant. It's been an absolute pleasure being here today, having an opportunity to share my story with you. And again, you could have been anywhere. Our beautiful days are being decreased every day, and you could have been anywhere, but you chose to come here today. So I just want to thank you so much for your time and your presence. It's been a pleasure. And I've been asked to stop and leave 15 minutes for questions. Should I join the group?